Dance. Dance, I think, is happiness and joy. No one is not affected by dance when they see it. It provokes emotions, whether they're sad, whether they're happy, whether they make you feel sexy. It takes you on a journey, and that's what drew me to dance when I was a kid. I just loved it. It was a connection. It was an immediate connection. I got in that dance studio, I was moving my body, it felt right. It became my way of expressing my emotions. Teaching, inspiring, educating, and on the other side of it, there's performing, emotional release, and those classes, those are my therapy. It's our job to make it entertaining. No one wants to tune in and have 30% of the show that's just kind of okay. When I see a student in my class, when you just see that hunger and that drive and you see the potential, I guess that means I've been around a while. When my students are now choreographers and directors themselves. But that's, I think, the most fulfilling thing about that aspect is seeing my journey in them.
This week on the show, we have Brian Friedman, who is a director, choreographer, and dancer. He's worked with such people like Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, and Beyoncé. And right now, he is the creative director for the X Factor, which means that every 7 days, he is putting on huge shows, huge dance routines, sometimes with people that don't even know the basics of the arts. And Brian is such an intense guy. He's a fellow American, and I love the way that he approaches life because that's with perfection. He wants everything to be right, and he's not afraid to do big things. He's got his own dance practice, and he's got everything that he is taking to the next level. We also talked about him coming out of the closet when he was a young man and how it was a big pivotal moment of his life for taking things to the next level because he was being congruent with who he is. So whether you're into dancing or performance, it doesn't matter. Brian is a key person of influence and a guy that really knows how to get things done. So I think you're going to enjoy this very, very much. Now, right across the streets, we have been inside London Real Studios doing some amazing things. We've been working on a new product called the Life Accelerator that we're gonna be launching on January 1st to help you take your life to the next level. Spirituality, health, fitness, relationships, everything that we do here at London Real, we are gonna be showing you how to do to the next level. So stay tuned for that. And now I will leave you with Mr. Brian Friedman. This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Brian Friedman, the American dancer, choreographer, producer, and director. You've worked with stars like Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, Beyoncé, Mariah Carey, and in Hollywood movies like American Reunion and Charlie's Angels. You've been a judge and choreographer for the TV show So You Think You Can Dance and the producer for America's Got Talent. You're currently the creative director of The X Factor. And from what I can tell, you're the hardest working man in showbiz. Brian, welcome to London Real.
Thanks for having me.
You know, you are coming from the studio off to another project. Your publicist is getting emails from you like 1 till 5 in the morning. What's a typical week for you like when you're in the middle of X Factor?
Chaotic. I would say it's extremely chaotic. I can never tell where I'm going to be at any minute. Things come from one side that I didn't expect. I think I'm done with the show in 1 minute, and then all the songs change, and I have to create a new show overnight. So it's definitely stressful, definitely hectic. It keeps me on my toes. It's a challenge. I think that the more you have challenging things in life, the more you're growing, and it gives you something to rise to. So I like it. It's stressful though.
Yeah, but you seem calm in the storm.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Maybe I'm calm on the outside.
Okay.
Inside I constantly have to talk myself off of the cliff. But it's good. I do like the stress. I think I feed on stress. Other people crumble under stress and pressure, but I seem to rise to the occasion, I think.
Okay. Was that true always when you were growing up and dancing as well as when you're choreographing?
I think it's always been true for me. I've just been driven as a child. I was very driven. I was always wanting to do more and thinking what's next and being bored doing the normal thing and playing with friends. It didn't really seem right for me. So I think I have been chasing excitement and danger all my life.
And for X Factor, what is the most stressful part? Are you multiple days? Is it the fact that people have to be ready on short notice and you have to cram so much knowledge into someone's head who maybe isn't used to doing that?
It's a different stress every day. Every day is something new. You know, there's the stress of getting the contestants to be their best on the show and wanting them to have the knowledge that you have over years and trying to inject it in them in days and hours and minutes. That's definitely stressful. On the other side, the creative side, it's topping what you did the week before. It's coming up with better concepts, and now after 10 years or 10 seasons of doing this show in multiple countries, I feel like I've done everything I can creatively. So it's a challenge to myself. I know that we're going to deliver because that's what we do, but it's how can we do something new that the audience hasn't seen before. So that's definitely something stressful for me. The time crunch is stressful. Yeah. I have 1 day with my team and my assistants to put this whole show together. And then the people who are building all the sets, they have about a day to get those sets together. So it's definitely the time crunch that's stressful. You don't have time to make a mistake. You don't have time to go back and rework something. It has to be done then and now.
So it's like dance triage.
And then the dance side of things, that was all just on the creative side.
Okay, right.
On the dance side of things, my choreography team has 1 day to craft all of these numbers. And it's funny, going into the show that we're doing this week, we started out having 2.5 dance numbers. One of them was going to be really easy. And then some songs changed, and now we have 5 dance numbers. And the rehearsals on the dance day were finished when we found out about this. So we had to do dancer rehearsals in between while we're teaching the contestants their numbers, basically doing it all on the spot. How would I say this? Faking it,
Okay.
figuring it out.
Right.
But then the day ended, and I looked back on it, and I loved the work that we created. And going into the day, if I hadn't trusted that we could pull that off, I could have had a meltdown.
Okay, so sometimes you get the best work out of the chaos.
You do, and it's hard to accept that, and it's hard for maybe the rest of my team to understand that because maybe they haven't tested themselves to that limit. I've got a full new team this year, so it's putting them through boot camp as well. They've got a challenge.
Okay, and you're known as a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Okay, which is almost impossible on a show where you have to deliver with these kind of deadlines. This isn't like a music video where you can really practice and get this down. I mean, by definition, it's imperfect, right?
I mean, yeah, it has to be imperfect. You have to accept the fact that there are going to be flaws, and that the audience doesn't necessarily know what your vision was in the beginning. They're seeing a finished product, and to me, I'm probably the only person in there, maybe a couple other people, who know what the real vision was supposed to be. Because I'm a perfectionist, I try to not let myself be let down when the show goes on. I try to look at the positive and see it through an outsider's eyes, and I think that we pull off an amazing spectacle. But of course, I am a perfectionist, so I look back and see the things that I wish would have happened and could have happened, and obviously budget is an issue. We don't have all the money in the world to throw at the show, and in a perfect world, we would be spending, thousands and thousands on each contestant's performance like you do when it's an award show. But we have to make this budget spread across to all of them. So that's a challenge in and itself.
And when you watch, do you watch that final episode? Do you try to tell yourself, okay, we're going to watch this and not try to be too critical on yourself?
I don't watch the show.
Okay, yeah.
I don't watch it back, I should say. I watch the show live. I'm in the audience, and I love the energy. I feed off of the energy of the fans and the studio audience screaming for the contestants.
That's what matters ultimately.
That is what matters. It matters how it's received in the house and how the judges receive it. I mean, they are the ones who are critiquing the contestants and, in a way, the performances. If they don't think the performance is spectacular, that does fall on me a bit. Yeah. So I look over to see if the judges are happy. If they're happy, if the audience is cheering, then I feel like we've done our job. If the contestant finishes their performance and feels like a superstar, then I really know we did our job.
Right, and the audience can feel that too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And you know when it doesn't hit. You know when you have a failing moment. When you're sitting there in the audience and they're not making any noise, and then the judges slam back at the performance. That means that we couldn't necessarily bring that contestant up, have them rise to the occasion, or in some cases mask the fact that it's not really the best song for them. Sometimes it's our job to give a little bit of smoke and mirrors and make it a show, even when it's not necessarily the strongest performer performing the best song.
Okay, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it works.
Okay.
I mean, not saying any names, but through the years, we've had contestants that maybe, you think there's a lot of potential there, and they get put on the show hoping that they'll rise, and then they just sort of flatline. So it's our job to make it entertaining. No one wants to tune in and have 20%, 30% of the show that's just kind of okay and mediocre. So I feel like that's when we, as a creative team, have to really step up.
And the audience doesn't lie, the judges don't lie. Pretty much that is the feeling. So you won't watch it, record it back. You'll actually be there in the audience. You'll see it, but you'll feel.
I mean, you can't change it. That's the thing.
And you got to move on to the next week.
You have to move on, and there's no reason to look back.
It's not a musical or something where you can tweak it. It's over.
It's over. Okay. You get one shot.
Right.
And that's what the contestants have to realize. That's what we all have to realize. You have one shot. Do it right, because you don't get another chance.
Right. What is dance? I mean, what is the essence of dance? Because you're talking about being the audience, and if the people don't feel it, then it's not right. But if they do feel it, then it's right, regardless if everybody did the exact pieces. But I figure if anyone I was going to ask that question, it would be you. Like, when you take this big bird's eye perspective on what it is that you do, what is the essence of it?
Dance. Dance, I think, is happiness and joy. I would say that's what dance is. No one is not affected by dance when they see it. It brings life, it brings movement, it provokes emotions, whether they're sad, whether they're happy, whether they make you feel sexy. Whatever it is about the dance, it takes you on a journey. And that's what drew me to dance when I was a kid.
You said it was the only way you knew how to communicate.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't a talker as a kid. Oddly enough, because I don't ever stop talking as an adult.
You got better at it.
Can't stop talking. But as a kid, I just loved it. It was a connection. It was an immediate connection. I got in that dance studio. I was moving my body. It felt right. It became my way of expressing my emotions, and then learning different styles of dance, knowing that I could have interpretive things that were helping me get out, a softer side or a sadder side, and then being able to have the happy styles, and hip hop emerged, and I was doing that when I was a kid, and it was just the best therapy, I think, for me and for anyone who dances knows that is your therapy. That's how we get our emotions out. Dancers wear their hearts on their sleeve. They are highly expressive. They play with their fashion. They're just not afraid to take risks, and I think it's because they're so open.
I had Kimberly Wyatt of the Pussycat Dolls
Yes.
in here about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and she said, most dancers are introverts, and she said she always was. Like when she's on the stage, she's expressing, and then afterwards she's quiet. Maybe is that because that's the form of communication?
Yeah, it is the form of communication. It's funny because they're introverts with their speech.
Right.
I mean,
Well
and I'm
said, well
totally
said.
generalizing right now.
Yeah.
This is not all of us, but as most dancers are, you ask them to talk, they can't speak. You ask them to move, they can dance all day and all night. So it's just the way we are. That's how we express ourselves. Generally dancers can't sing either.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, we sing with our bodies.
Right. Do you think in today's, even more digital ways of communicating, and in this way that we kind of go more online when we talk to each other, that dance is becoming maybe one of the last few ways we can communicate effectively with each other?
Definitely.
So it's so obvious and carnal, and it cuts through like language.
Well,
right?
I'm frustrated with the fact that we can't talk anymore, and I fall victim to that as well. I'm texting everything. A phone call comes in on my phone, I don't answer it. I'm like, I'll respond really quick. So, of course, it's easier to communicate that way. Communicating through your body, now that's the true test. I believe using your face and using your movement tells so much more than maybe a few words can. And, Instagram. That's how people are communicating. There's so many dance videos now on Instagram and on YouTube. And I'm loving even musical artists. They're creating concept videos with dance to help promote their music and their singles. You'll get Justin Bieber's Sorry video on YouTube, and it has, I don't even know how many billion views, even more than the real video does. So yeah, there's something to be said about telling your story through movement. And I think it's more effective.
Okay, right. It just communicates stronger and
It
without
is.
filters and without, I guess language is like a
How
weird
many
filter.
times have we loved a song because of the dance video that supported it?
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't love that song so much, but then you connect a little bye 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 to it, and all of a sudden it's effective.
Yeah, I mean, take case in point, Kimberly Wyatt with Don't Ya.
Yeah.
There's a huge, powerful dance number, multiple numbers going throughout the piece that are in my brain somewhere.
Forever ingrained.
And locked
Thriller.
into this. Yeah,
but those
Thriller.
were also great songs.
Yeah, true. That's very true. I just keep thinking about just that whole concept of just the movement and how we see it, and if we need to get back to that. I had a movement artist in here, a movement expert named Ido Portal. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's into kind of lizard walks and using your body. And I did a workshop with him where we actually communicated between two people through movement only. And the whole room was like almost trying to touch and avoiding their touch, and then the other person's to kind of attack and avoid their touch. And it was weird because I was having conversations with people I'd never met before, but I could tell this person was playful, this person was aggressive, this person was shy, and we never spoke.
Yeah, it's body language.
Yeah.
I mean, body language is movement. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, I think, about dance and choreography, is it's not just trained forms of dance. There's so much more to movement and so much more to choreography than just jazz, tap, ballet, hip hop, ballroom styles of dance. With the contestants that I have on the show, I consider it choreography, even the ones that are just standing at a mic stand. It's about how you coach their movement. So anything that moves can be choreography.
Okay, and you like sometimes the small movements. You mentioned
yeah.
like the Beyoncé hand, and those are the things that people remember.
I love the subtle stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes, I'm all over the board.
Okay.
I can't say I have a favorite thing. I think that there is joy in things that are very small. There's also joy in repetition. There is joy in huge, crazy acrobatic movements. I love organized chaos on stage, something that doesn't look like it's choreographed but is, and it happens the same every time. I think just being a lover of dance and a lover of choreography and a lover of movement, I could never pick a favorite thing. And I feel like that's what sets me apart from so many other choreographers out there, is I don't have a niche. I love to do crazy camp stuff, I love a sequin and a neon and a confetti drop, but I also love sleek and stylish and completely avant-garde. I also love understated denim jeans and a white t-shirt off the shoulder, barefoot at a mic stand. So I think it's that diversity that sets it apart, especially for me working on a show like X Factor. Then you feel like you're not watching the same type of creation in the same genre throughout a whole show.
Yeah. After 10 years, how do you surprise yourself? How do you come up with those new ideas? Do you find that you need to put yourself in, like, go force yourself to go to a new art museum or watch some video you never looked at? Or how do you get your brain to create?
Everything that I pass by, you know, sometimes I'll be walking down the street and I'll take a photo of something and that is inspiration. And I keep a folder that is my inspiration folder, whether it's of art or fashion or architecture, and I always draw back on that. And sometimes that's all you need is just an image in your head to spark something, and then what it can help you create is something that you never would have gotten to with that inspiration. Sometimes the music is what inspires me. You hear a song and you just know in your head, you see it brought to life. But it is difficult, you say, in 10 years of this now. It's difficult because a lot of the songs, the favorite songs, you're doing themed weeks on X Factor. So, you know, there's only so many songs for a Fright Night week. So sometimes I've created 8 or 9 versions of the same song. And you don't want to go back and just do the same thing, carbon copy, and give it to another contestant and say, well, this is yours. You want to make it bespoke and you want to make it special for them. So that's the challenge when you're doing Could It Be Magic for the 10th time.
Right, okay. What's the link between fashion and choreography and dance in your mind? Because I think to an artist like you, it's obvious. But like I kind of grew up more on the scientific spectrum, and for me, I was always like, but those are different. And like only now I'm slowly starting to understand. Actually, I've been doing some breakdancing lately, and I know it's crazy. On the back of this guy Ito, because I was doing martial arts for a long time, and I was like the tough guy. The problem with martial arts is that you're always punching things and trying to tap people out, and you don't express yourself as a male. And now I'm really enjoying it. But now I'm slowly starting to see how the music is part of the dance, and then how the fashion is part of the dance. But for people that don't understand, or maybe even for me, how are they related? Because you have your own, you have your own fashion label as well.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I can't say that all dancers, all choreographers have the fashion bug in them. I know for me, I did. I think any creators, some choreographers just like to make up movement, and they don't necessarily have a strong aesthetic style. Others are all about the marriage between their movement and the visual appeal of it. Right. If you want to tell a story, it is imperative that you are visually telling it with your styling as well as the movement that you're creating. You know, you wouldn't watch a period film and want to see them wearing current clothes. So whatever that is, whatever story this is that you're trying to tell, you want it to match perfectly. For me, it is all about the styling. It finishes the product 100%. We did a performance this last week on X Factor for Fright Night, and I really wanted, it was one of my favorite performances we've ever done on the show, and I wanted it to be really spooky, really eerie. I had these girls walking in on Zimmer frames, or as we call them in America, walkers. Okay. They were walking in on these. They were sort of twisted, gorgeous nurses. That were twisted and freaky and mildly crippled with these half masks on. So without the styling, you wouldn't have gotten that. You know, you wouldn't have felt that energy at all. It's playing the character as well as doing the movement. So it's hand in hand. Okay. It finishes it. It's the cherry on top of the sundae. Okay. If your cherry wasn't on your sundae, you'd feel shorted.
But can fashion inspire dance?
100%.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
How so?
For me, it's the movement. If I see a great look that I'm inspired by, or see something in my mind that I want to create, then it's about building the movement that matches the fashion the best that it can. You know, if you've got an outfit walking down a runway and it's got special pieces on it, you want to feature those pieces in the right way. If it's got these long drapey sleeves, the model's going to walk out with their arms open so that you can see the full effect of what that garment is. And it's the same thing with dance. If I have an idea for something with dancers in helmets, you want them to do choreography that really showcases the helmets with their heads ticking in different directions and creating profile movement. So yeah, fashion can inspire movement And I think that you can come up with some really unique stuff that you wouldn't do if you didn't have that fashion there. You know, if you've got your girls in big dresses, you're going to want them lifting the dresses up, doing some skirt choreography. So it definitely inspires movement.
And your label, Brian Says Be Free, is all about clothes for dancers.
Yeah, that whole thing was created, and it's funny now because I think there are so many options for dancers now. Okay. And when I created the line, it wasn't the same.
It was just
the
basic.
Fashion world has really been injected into sportswear world.
Okay.
And dancers now have options, and the options are endless for dancers now to look fashionable, yet still be able to move in their clothes. And that was why I created my line, is I wanted something that dancers could wear and feel like they weren't looking homeless. Because that was the problem. You're like, okay, well, I got some sweatpants, some jogging bottoms, and a hoodie, and then you leave rehearsal and someone's afraid you're going to rob them. So I wanted it to look like we put some effort and time and some money into our wardrobe, but not at a high expense.
Okay. But now there's plenty of options.
Now there's plenty of options, but mine are still the best.
Right, of course. And it used to just be they would take sporting wear and try to make it work, but there was no style and feel.
Yeah,
to it.
dancers were like a slave to their scissors and safety pins. They're like, well,
Okay.
I'll cut this up and I'll tie that up and I'll pin this up, and trying to make their own fashion that way. But now, there are so many options.
Okay.
Dancers really do like set the benchmark for fashion.
Fashion, yeah.
Yeah.
What are dancers like? What is the subculture? I mean,
Fun,
Yeah.
clicky, Peter Pan. Yeah, we're all a bunch of Peter Pans.
what does that mean?
It means I think I'm 15.
Okay,
And-
all right, okay.
And no one can tell me. No one can tell me I'm not 15. Well, our shelf life is very short. We expire quickly.
Right.
No one wants to hire that 40-year-old dancer that looks their age
Okay.
and put them behind a young pop star. We feel the clock is ticking as a dancer. You feel your joints aching. You feel your muscles tightening up. You feel the wrinkles setting in on your face. So all of these things leads you to believe that you are getting old, and it is your job as a dancer to fight them if you want to still have your career. Of course, we can all transition into other careers, and many dancers have the ability to do that. Actually, I will say all dancers have the ability to do that. It's just choosing which career path is right for you, because we're artists, so to go into fashion, to go into makeup and hair, and all these things that you can continue to do after you're considered or deemed old, we can do that. But we are young at heart. We use our bodies. I think it keeps us young. Dancing is good for the soul. It's good for your body. Well, I mean, it's good for your body because it keeps you in shape.
Right.
But it's also bad for your body because of the things that we do, like all the falling on the floor. And when you're young, you're not having knee pads. You're not guarding yourself because you don't feel it then.
Yeah.
Let those years keep ticking by, and then you realize, ooh, maybe I should have taken a little bit better care of my body when I was younger. But yeah, I know, speaking for myself, I have Peter Pan syndrome.
Okay. And when it's 3 a.m. at a party full of dancers, what's happening? Or 4 a.m.
A party.
Okay, party. Okay.
I mean, I had to.
Are they dancing too?
I had to step away from that world, but I had a great 20s, that's for sure.
Okay. You stepped away because it was going one way, the wrong way?
Well, I career transitioned.
Okay.
I went more into choreography in my 20s, my mid-20s, which then my responsibilities increased to the point where I couldn't just show up at my 6 to 8 hour rehearsal and then go home and not take my work home with me. Now I was working 24 hours a day around the clock, having to be available for meetings and emails, and if things don't go well, the eyes are on me, not on the dancers. So
Okay.
I definitely
more
have
responsible.
I had to be more responsible, but dancers, they've got it made.
Okay.
Those were the best years ever when I was on tour as a young dancer with artists. Just getting to go all around the world, having it paid for, getting paid to do it, getting to perform in front of thousands and thousands of screaming fans every night, and that was it. You'd work for 4 or 5 hours a day. So it's the best job ever.
Right.
Love it.
But it's Peter Pan, it's going to be over soon, so enjoy it.
It's fleeting.
It's fleeting. Okay.
It's fleeting,
Right.
but enjoy it while it lasts and save your money.
Okay. And think about the transition. And transition early, which
Yeah.
is what you did.
I transitioned early, not to say that everyone has to transition early. I started young, so I think that my transition early happened just because of that. You know, if most people didn't start their professional performing career at 12,
right.
then, you know, they would want to still do it. I was done and wanting and itching for something new around the age of like 22, 23. I needed to sink my teeth into something else. So that's why I kind of moved over. I still miss it. Like, I miss dancing. I miss performing. I miss being...
You still do dance and perform, right? I've seen the videos on your YouTube channel.
I teach class.
What are those videos on your YouTube channel where there's all the people in the background kind of watching all these dancers and like you're dancing and the heels and all that? What are those?
Those are just masterclasses, workshops, conventions, events that I teach on.
Okay.
Which
powerful.
are open to anyone.
Okay.
And you can come to them, and that's where I get it out. That's
Okay,
where,
I
you know, I say that's our therapy. Those classes, those are my therapy. I love to teach. I mean, there's two different things going on there. There's teaching, inspiring, educating, and on the other side of it, there is performing, emotional release, and for these young dancers being discovered and spotted, because these videos have millions of views on them. So it's a way to further your career. So many things happen in those classes, and this is something that has been going on forever. We just haven't had cameras inside of them.
Right.
And we haven't been sharing them. But that's how I grew up. I grew up in those classes, sans cameras.
Right. This is what dancers do.
This is what we do. Okay. And our world is just now opened up to everyone else.
And now you have some nice moving cameras, and it really adds some
Now we've got a Ronin and a videographer in our classroom, which is disruptive in a way, in a sense, but on the other side of things, there is so much that we are benefiting from that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of adapting to the times and evolving with where we are now. Not all my classes are like that. You know, I pick and choose. I'm wise with when I decide to do it, and then other classes are just about us inside that room. And I think it's important as educators that we do draw that line and not go 100% technology and let that take over where we're at right now. It goes back to that being able to have a conversation with someone. We shouldn't just be texting each other. We should be able to pick up the phone and talk.
Right, because the camera in the room changes the dynamic of everyone.
Everyone is on for that red light.
Right, and is it on? And I better do this now. And who's going to maybe see this video? And
mistakes are not okay. They're not welcome on video because they'll haunt you for the rest of your life.
So then people won't maybe let it flow as much as they would.
They won't take risks.
They won't take the chances, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, you're out there dancing. You got a crazy number with the heels on. And I don't know, I don't know much about dance, but that's probably an ignorant thing to say because I'm a human. So I guess I do know about dance, right? I understand human movement.
Watching it means you know it. Everyone can be a critic. Just like watching singing competitions, you know when it's bad.
Yeah.
You know when dancing is bad.
I mean, I might not know some of the nuances, but you're right. I have the feeling.
Yeah.
That's why you trust the audience at X Factor, because they know.
Exactly.
'Cause that's the point. You're trying to spike a unique emotion that only happens when they watch other humans move.
Exactly.
You can't get that emotion from a drug, a video game, anything else.
No.
And that's why people tune in, right?
Yeah, dance can make you cry, it can make you laugh, it can make you feel attracted to the person you're watching. Whatever it is, it definitely makes you feel.
And when I see you dance, I see you're letting out some demons. It feels like you haven't been performing for a while. It feels like, man, I'm on. Maybe a little angry. I can't tell. What am I seeing?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
What the choreography is, what the song is. There's definitely a level of aggression that I have, and it is a bit like unleashing something that has been caged up because, again, I don't get to dance that much. I love to do it.
Is that the
it's
only
also
way?
my own choreography, so I don't get to have that much fun. I miss doing other people's movement. I'm sick of my own movement.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
You miss, you'd rather
I miss being a dancer. I miss going into a rehearsal and learning someone else's choreography.
Okay.
I mean, I don't get to do it that often, and that was what I did as a child. That's what I did growing up. So I miss my old life in a way. I'm sick of my work.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be the ultimate dream that you would never have to listen to someone else and do their moves. But
it would be my ultimate dream right now. Okay, this is to never make up another step again. That would be my ultimate dream. And then if I didn't have to make up another step for 6 months, 3 months, I probably would miss it and run right back into it. It's just, I've been doing choreography for so long now that It's not that it doesn't inspire me, because I'm inspired to direct choreography and create a scene. I just don't want to make up those steps anymore. There's only so many 5, 6, 7, 8s you can do until you're a little bit burned out. So that's why I'm really happy on X Factor right now, because that's what I'm doing. I've got my choreography team there that are doing the steps, and then I go in and I micromanage and scrub them and change them and flip them and swap them and stage them and turn them into something that we're all happy with.
Okay. Is dance inherently sexual? Like, I'm watching the videos on your channel, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, is that a random question? But I had to ask it.
Well,
like,
it's your body.
Right.
Like, you feel it when you're moving, and there's something euphoric about moving your body. And yes, there is definitely a similarity between sexual emotions and feelings and dancing. So we, as dancers, are sexual beings, I think. I know with my movement, there's probably 60% of the time something sexual involved in it.
Okay.
Tasteful,
Right.
yet sexual. Now with my age, I'm a little bit more refined. But yeah,
Okay.
dancers are sexual beings. Choreography can be sensual.
Okay. And also, you're not restricted by language or culture like we are when we talk. I mean, you can't talk about that. But when you're dancing,
Well,
you can kind of go where you want to go.
You can, but it's still, you have to censor yourself. I believe that it's wise to not just completely be all out there, unless that's the audience that you're performing for, you know. Okay. But you have to just think about who your audience is. I think that's really important. Know if people are watching, if they're going to be little kids, then you don't want to do that. YouTube's the difficult thing, though,
Right.
because it's an open platform and kids can watch it. So I try to be cautious about what I put out there and make sure that it's acceptable for everyone. But it is up to the parents to filter what their kids are watching. So.
Right. The movie Black Swan, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't like it at first, but now I like it better. But I mean, the rough concept is he was trying to get this dancer emotionally out of her shell so she could deliver this performance. I mean, I'm generalizing, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is that accurate?
All the time.
Okay.
100%.
Really?
There's so many dancers, and that's one aspect of what I do is training dancers and grooming them for their careers, mentoring them. And you just want to crack them with a hammer sometimes and just break that shell, the exterior that is guarding them.
Okay. Because it's in their head.
And it's not all dancers. It's some dancers. You see that potential, but they haven't clicked yet and been able to connect emotionally. It happens with singers too. You hear the song and they sound great, but they haven't tapped into that emotion so that it becomes real. Yeah. And it's a difficult thing. You can't force someone to get there, but you can break them down a bit to try and help. And it happens all the time. You want to break into those performers. You want them to connect.
Okay. Do you have certain strategies, non-Black Swan strategies?
I am just honest.
Okay.
I feel like honesty is the best policy in life. I don't ever want to beat around the bush with someone and mix words. I'm very direct. If someone doesn't give me exactly what I need, I tell them exactly what it is that I need. If they aren't giving it right, I let them know.
Such as, like, what would you say? Like, Brian, why are you holding back? Why are you scared? What are you repressed? Are you worried someone's going to see it? Like, what do you?
Well, I would let them know I feel nothing when I see you.
Right.
And I think that's it. Letting them know the exact truth, not putting a bunch of extra adjectives in there, just plainly putting it, I feel absolutely nothing. This is just steps. There's no emotional connection. There is no connection to the story. And no one wants that. No one likes that. You can only take superficial for so long. You want realistic. And it's not always the best dancers that deliver that heart. And you'll see that they're the ones that are getting the jobs. And this goes to the singers too. You may have the best voice in the world, but if you're not making us feel something emotionally, we don't care. And we're not going to buy the album. We're not going to watch the video. So I think it's about honesty. It's always about honesty and being real. It's the people that guard themselves and hold everything inside that won't reach their full potential.
So it's all about really being open.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what artistry is. Artistry is sharing your gift, and the gift has to come from a real place. It has to be authentic.
Yeah. I had Will Young in here a couple months ago, and I'm like, when you're out in front of all those people at the O2, like, you have to be like ultimately congruent with yourself and channel those emotions out to the people, and then they can tap into it and feel that way. But if it's not real, and if you're not an open vessel, then it's just going to be
I think
something
it's
else,
about
right?
being relatable.
Okay.
I think if you're open and honest with your feelings, then I'll have something to connect to as a viewer or a listener. And if you're not, we don't get inside. We can't get invested in someone. You want to feel like you can relate. Like you've been there. You know the sadness that they're singing about or dancing about. You know the heartache. You know the happy feelings, the joy. You can relate to your own time in life that is what is in that music. So it's relatability, I think.
I was thinking about the singer Edith Piaf. You know, she was always known as not being the perfect singer, but like she tapped into this feeling. Like when she sings, you're like, oh my God, you can feel her pain and her struggle and everything. And I don't even speak French.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pop stars too.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the best voice. They're not singing like Celine Dion,
Right.
but it's their performance quality that takes them through the roof, and you buy into it. You know, I'll buy into Lady Gaga all day because it's just so raw and unapologetic, and I love that.
Yeah. You have a notorious stare in the business. I guess you give it probably when you say, I'm not feeling anything. And then tell me what the stare is all about and why is it so effective?
I don't necessarily stare when I'm talking. I stare when I'm viewing things. And I'm not aware that I'm doing it. So I can't even really like comment on it. I've just been told that I scare people a lot when I stare at them. And it's not intentional. It's not intentional at all. I think I'm really nice. I am. I'm really nice. It's just when I'm in work mode and I'm in the zone, I work fast and I want excellence and I don't like waiting for it. So maybe that materializes in a dead stare. I don't know.
Plus you're known for like being able to see, you know, the dancer in the very back in a pack of 20 that didn't move their wrist the right way. So probably then they see you stare, they're feeling it.
Yeah, I think that's why I got into choreography, is because I was so frustrated because I was a fast worker and a fast learner, and when I'd be in rehearsal with all the other dancers and they'd be making mistakes, it frustrated me. So that was why I kind of wanted to choreograph in the beginning. I was like, well, if I can lead the room and be in charge, then no one will be making mistakes anymore. Because I see the flaws, only the flaws. I never see the good.
You're obsessive compulsive that way.
Yeah, if that's what that means, yes.
Okay. And that's also got you to where you are. So that's
the one thing I say. I will always deliver a polished product. You don't ever have to worry about anything being messy or out of place. It will always look good.
Right. Which is why you're doing what you're doing, I guess.
I hope so. I mean, it lets me know it's confirmation that I am where I'm supposed to be at all times. I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I mean, I do a lot of things in this creative, artistic world, and it all feels right to me, but I couldn't imagine being behind a desk or typing, and I mean, I type a lot in my job, but typing numbers in, it just doesn't resonate with me. I think I would go crazier than I already am.
And what is a nice Jewish boy from Chicago doing in this career path and now in London of all places? I mean, it's not obvious to me how that works.
I'm a hustler.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, and I'll see you on the inside.
Work your ass off. Work your ass off and let the no's be your fire. Yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of no. Everyone's gonna give you no's before they start giving you yeses. So you just need to build from those no's.